worried that people are going to get mad at you in your own party? Because you have said again and again you thought it was a big mistake not to take $1.8 trillion. Do you stand by that?
Yes, I mean, I think that it's no longer a matter of an opinion. It's a matter of fact. We had $1.8 trillion on the table. I and a few others said, let's take the deal. And now we're down to $900 billion. Now, look, we have to get something done. My big issue with this deal that I hope we can fix is right now a lot of the money is with the PPP program and not enough with the unemployment insurance. It only extends it to March. I think the recession coming may last longer. And the studies show that 25% of the PPP program went to the top 1% of loan of borrowers. I'd rather be extending more in the unemployment insurance.
I guess my point, Ro, was, I mean, would you say that Speaker Pelosi, in not accepting that deal, ended up giving up $900 billion, giving up months where this money could have been going to work? And if that is true, what do you ascribe that to? What were her motivations for not accepting? What did you talk to her? What did she say to you?
Well, she said that, look, McConnell at the time, if you remember, was not willing to move as well. I mean, the White House had a deal at 1.8, 1.9 trillion. Mnuchin had moved. The White House had moved. If McConnell had moved and put it before the Senate, I think it would have increased pressure. But there's no doubt in my mind that we should have been doing more back then to get the 1.8 trillion.
So both sides, I guess the bottom line is, I don't know what we could have arrived at. Maybe, I don't know. It's history. Neither side moved. Congressman Comer, what do you think happened back then?
Well, I think that there's certainly a desire, but as you know, House Republicans are a little bit concerned about the debt. We recognize the fact that the economy's struggling. When you talk about things like what Roe talked about with unemployment, a lot of my employers in my congressional district in Kentucky have complained because of the extended unemployment and because of the added unemployment that a lot of employees didn't come back to work after the initial shutdown because they were being incentivized to stay at home. They made more money or made about as much money not working than working. So we certainly don't want to pass any type of government legislation that incentivizes people not to go to work. We want to safely reopen the economy, and we recognize that we need some stimulus, but I would like to see, and most Republicans would like to see, targeted stimulus. Whereas with the PPP loan program, we target the industries like the restaurant industry and the tourism and travel industry, the specific industries that both parties agree have been devastated by these government shutdowns. We need to help those industries, and I think that there's a willingness to do that. I just don't know that we're willing to spend another $1 to $2 trillion, but certainly we're willing to come to the table, and negotiations are ongoing, and I think we'll get something done.
You do. We had an economist on yesterday that said that the majority leader, McConnell, will be loath to arrive at any type of deal prior to the elections, the runoffs in Georgia. Is it? I mean, do both sides cast the other side as really, well, it's almost Christmas, it's almost Scrooge-like in sort of turning away from all the people that really need this for political reasons? Do both sides have something there in terms of maybe Speaker Pelosi prior to the presidential election, McConnell prior to this election? Is that really going on here, do you think, Congressman?
I'll step up. I don't think that's going on. You know, we certainly recognize the fact that if Joe Biden's sworn in as the next president, he's going to have a 100-day agenda, and he's going to want to spend a lot more money. I think there's a willingness in Congress in both parties to pass a major infrastructure bill. That certainly is stimulus. You know, we've passed tax cuts. We've have interest rates at basically zero now. We've had quantitative easing. So the government's been stimulating the economy for the past 4 to 6 years. We can't continue to operate in these deficits. We've got to have some fiscal discipline in Washington, but at the same time, we're willing to step up and spend something. I liked McConnell's original bill, but certainly we're willing to do that. I think something's going to get done. I don't think that the races in Georgia, although they're significant on the future of Congress and future of America, I don't think they're playing a big role in why Congress hasn't passed another stimulus bill yet.
I would just say on the
Congressman,
deficits.
Go ahead.
You know,
Go ahead. Sorry.
On the deficits, after 2017, after passing a $1.6 trillion tax cut and not speaking out about deficits, I think it's a little bit much to be now concerned all of a sudden with deficits. And it's Jerome Powell who's saying actually the worst thing we could do about deficits is not pass anything, because we'd hurt consumer spending, we'd hurt economic growth, and we'd be in a world of hurt. I think what people are saying is, where's the relief for ordinary Americans? Where's their stimulus? We know after the CARES Act that poverty in this country in April and May actually did not go up because people had unemployment extension. It was a policy that worked. They were spending it. 73% of that money went in people's pockets. And you can have economists on, even conservative economists say that there was no disincentive to getting back to work. So let's look at the economists, let's look at the facts, and do what Jerome Powell at the Fed has been urging us to do for months. All
right, gentlemen, what was that? Was that in my ear? What was that I just heard? Was that in whose house was that? Was that in your house, bro? Well, maybe it was just in my
probably. Sorry.
What was it? It was cute. I like
Elf in the Shelf. Elf in the Shelf is around in our house. So I don't know if it was a Elf in the Shelf sighting.
All right, fantastic, gentlemen. I want to thank you both. And we said right at the top of the show, hope springs eternal. But we've been disappointed so many times.